Minotaur Smut. Minotaur Smut. That's what this is. That's it. That's it. I honestly just want to start working and reading this book, which I think is like 250 pages. I did open it yesterday on my Kindle, so I think it's like 250 pages. I think I can read the whole thing in one day. Essentially in one sitting, if you excuse the fact that I'm going to be updating you regularly. But today I am going to be reading all of Morning Glory Milking Farm. Right? Okay, I have to think about it because for the past like year and a half, whenever, like, I'm pretty sure if you look at any of my gaming videos, I remember at least one Satisfactory play, like one of the times I played Satisfactory, I was talking about it when I was on streams, and I would be like, yeah, I want to really read this book, and I would call it Milking the Minotaur, because what I know about this book is that it's a farm where it's her job to milk the Minotaur, but like a different white liquid that isn't milk. That's all I knew, and so I thought it was Milking the Minotaur was the name. No, it's Morning Glory Milking Farm. Is the name of the book. I think this is a series. I think there's a vampire one. I am 98% sure there's a Mothman one. Will I continue the series? I don't know. Probably not. Generally with these types of books, the first one, the novelty of it, kills me, and I'm having a great time, but if I, like, continue, it's not as good, because, like, after, like, the first book, unless it's, like, top-tier writing, I am not sitting there, being like, this is a grade A literature that I love accessing my brain. I like it for, like, a novelty moment, like, every few months, once a month, something like that. Speaking of which, I do these videos semi-regularly. Up above, in the cards, I'll have a playlist, that's called Weird Smut. Because this is common enough for me where I had to make a playlist. Listen, this is the joy I have in life right now. I don't got much of it. So, here we are. Here we are with this. We have, and I think this is the first time we're doing a kind of monster smut in these. Right? Like, I've read other monster smuts, don't get me wrong. I have read Multiple Dragon in 1 month for a separate video, like, this is who I am. But I have done a bunch of silverware smut. I have done, different foods. I think there was squash and there was a, potato one, but I think this is the first, monster one that goes in the list or in the playlist. I don't think I've read a Minotaur smut either, if I'm thinking about it. I've read Gargoyle, I've read Dragon, I've read, I mean, there's the obvious of, like, werewolves and vampires. I just realized that vlog I was talking about, actually, they were all Dragon Smut. I think it was technically 4 Dragon Smut. Accidentally, I didn't know that. Anyways, I've read a lot of weird monster smut, but I haven't read Minotaur yet. And, literally all I know about it is that she milks them for her job on the farm, and then they fall in love, I think. I don't know. All I also know is that I love the cover. It itches my brain the same way as Dragon's Bride by Katie Robert, in which it is reminiscent of those bodice ripper, that's what it is, bodice ripper historical romances from, like, 90s, early 2000s. Like, I still love those covers. That's why I still, like, the one Hessedare I own is one of those covers. Like, I love those covers. So it's very reminiscent of those. But monsters. And so, yeah, it's a special part of my brain, and that's why I wanted to read, that's mostly the reason why I wanted to read this one for a long time, and I'm finally doing it. It's finally come to this moment. I've also read Orc Smut. I've read Shrek Smut. We don't need to talk about it. Anyways, that's what's going to be happening today. Usually what happens is around 25 to 30%, I update you, and then it's, like, dependent which one I do. It's either how much happens throughout the book, whether it's going to be every quarter or third of the book. I update you with my thoughts, and whether or not it's causing you to have a breakdown and be traumatized by the smut. I will spoil the book. That's another thing. I will spoil the book, but I also will talk about, like, whether or not this smut is well done, or if I'm being traumatized. Looking at you, potato smut, I am still not okay. And yeah, I think that's everything we gotta talk about. I'm gonna go read it. I haven't even started on my computer yet. That's how early in the morning we are. But I'm gonna go do that. Goodbye. I'll talk to you in probably, like, an hour. I'm a good chunk of the way through the book. And I can tell you actually something that happens in this book. Because all I know is that she milks him. It's 5:30. I think I filmed the intro at, like, 9:30. It's 5:30 now. I've washed my hair. Yeah, we're filming in here again. It's one son. Hello, puppy. But two, another reason why I'm taking it slower today, and I didn't update you, despite the fact that I am 58% of the way through, is because, I've been overstimulated today, which is part of the reason why I wash my hair. I was wondering if it was one of those things. I don't know if this is just a me thing, where my hair is slightly dirty, and so then all I can think about is that all day long, and I can't get any work done because of that. So then I just decide to wash it. But also, not against her. I was just already overstimulated, and then she was doing it. My sister did a lot of work in here, and so I was completely changed the background in here. But that's fine. I don't know if it's noticeable to anyone else or just me because I live here. Anyways, book. I have thoughts and opinions. They're about to go on their first date, I think, kind of technically, and I'm 58% of the way through. Um, the book itself, like, it's well written and it's funny. Um, there's like, I like personally remembered 3 specific jokes in the beginning, right? In like the first chapter that I could bring up to you because they made me laugh really hard, especially one specific one. I don't even know if that's a joke. That's just an aspect of the book that made me laugh really hard. But there's also like the aspect of her job that I will talk about in a minute. That I think is being done on purpose and it's well done. So there's all that. Comedy wise, so like the plot of this is that she's 26. She got her bachelor's degree, graduates, learns that her dream job needs you to go to grad school now. So then she gets a bunch of loans to go to grad school. She's living in the city by herself, can't afford rent. It also has student loans and a credit card debt. Can't get a job in her career because entry level positions are not the same anymore. All that jazz. I know life a little too well. And so she's just trying to survive. Her other option is her parents keep, or her mother specifically keeps on asking or offering her their garage for her to live above. And she really does not want to do with that. Her mother's anxiety and her anxiety have a specific way of interacting with each other, which I can imagine is hell alone. Like that specific relationship with your mother as a woman alone without that aspect, yeah, I can see that for good reason she doesn't want to go back there. Also, like her mom trying to set her up with like her high school sweetheart, who was like divorced before 30, right, and living in his mom's basement. Like that's what's happening. When she gets a pop up to apply to the Morning Glory Farms, not knowing what it is at the time, she just sees that the income and the you make your own schedule and the benefits, this is the first part that made me laugh, is so great. The whole reason she applied is because she was looking at all the stuff and she saw that they included dental and she went, yes, I need to apply. That is so valid to me right now, me with my teeth issues right now. Yeah. Yeah. In my real life, I have seriously contemplated applying to a job like at least once a week, a specific job that I don't think I'd get, but like if I do, they have dental and health, and you know how great that'd be. I wouldn't have enough time to do any of my other work, but that sounds great right now. Okay, how would I get there? Who knows? But yeah, no, valid. Also, definitely not my career field, but that's what she's got to do. Hers is working in nonprofit. So she's like, if it was to somebody else, she would find the irony funny of somebody trying to work in nonprofit having to go into debt to try to work in nonprofit. Right. So there's that part. The Morning Glory Farms. The reason why we will talk about in a second, because that's the third part that made me laugh really hard and actually took me out for a minute there, like multiple minutes. My sister walked by and I couldn't stop laughing and she thought I was going crazy. Okay. But it is for medicinal purposes, medical purposes, pharmacy purposes, right? That's why they need to milk the Minotaurs. So it's a subsidiary, yep, that's how you pronounce it, subsidiary of a different company, that's, I believe, I was pronouncing Pfizer, but it's probably Pfizer as well, Pharmaceuticals. It's Pfizer with 2 Z's. It's spelled the same, otherwise the same way as real life Pfizer. You know, I don't remember the exact year this came out, but I think this was around the time that COVID, and Pfizer was in the news constantly because of the vaccine. And they were one of the big companies making the vaccine in America. So at least I literally was on stream. I was like maybe 5 minutes of the book. I was like less than 2% of the book. This came up. I put it in stream chat and we were all laughing about that. Okay, because that is hilarious. Comedy. Anyways, the part that took me out is why it is used. It is used in. So there's this magical blue pill for men in real life to make things happen. And apparently, Bull, in this magical world where there's a bunch of magical creatures, I'm pretty sure she has run into the Mothman and Human from the Mothman and Human one, right? And also she's best friends with the vampire who may be the vampire for the vampire one, right? But like it's a magical world, but she's like usually spent most of her life encapsulated in a human world, human town, and so like it wasn't until adulthood she started branching out, and not to this extent yet, right? Right? But apparently, Bol is used in the pill to make it so that happens for men in general. I don't know if it's just human men or men in general, but and the best way to do that is Minotaurs, because it's less weird. It's less weird because and hear me out, because they are sentient, so they can consent, but also they also get paid. They get paid by how much they each time, right? And then I was gonna say the girls. In her training, there was a person of a different gender. I think all her workers that we know of are female or female presenting, but there was a male one in her training. So, anyways, they get paid a day rate for doing this, right? But also, if they do a good job and the Minotaur appreciates it, can tip them. Anyways, yeah, no, so that's what you learn in the first chapter. As you can imagine, she's very stressed about her new job. So it's her like going through the training, which is like 2 weeks of training. She's very stressed about actually taking the job. Does she want to do it? And whatnot. And then near the end of her training, the first Minotaur she gets to do while being watched over by the person who she is shadowing, right? Like it's do one show one, or show one do one type thing. But like she's been seeing for like a week and a half, so now she gets to start doing as well. With oversight at first, and so she's witnessing it happen. I do like how it goes in depth about the technical aspect of every aspect of how this happens, how the whole system is set up at this milking farm, and how it works. I do like how that's a thing, and it's consistent throughout the book, like it's regularly being brought up. So that's a thing. Anyways, the first one is the love interest. Yeah. She apparently really good. He tips her $100 on her first day doing that extent of it, right? Right, and then also, he starts requesting her once a week. They're at the point where it's like twice a week now. And they have met accidentally once outside of the farm, and he bought her a drink at a coffee shop. But she was like there with a friend, so like she left him behind. Also, she overheard a conversation and thought he was in a relationship. No, he is divorced, but he's also like 10 years older than her, so that's okay. And also, he is a high-paying career, right? Like he owns a house. Girl, go for it. He owns a house. The other thing about the writing I want to bring up, this essentially has been happening for months. I think 6 months with the time jumps and whatnot. The aspect. So here's the thing: like the 25% of the book, it brought up this aspect. It was when she was doing her training. Near the end of her training, it brought up this aspect that I was asking this question for about a chapter and a half at this point, and the book answered it for me, in which I went, "Does this count as sex work?" Right? One, the actions they're doing. Two, they do get tips from the clients, if they do a good job type situation, right? But also, the clients are also being paid. The clients are being paid, and they're being paid for doing this work. So, it's like in this gray area, and it's described as nothing about it, at least from as an employee side, nothing about it is very sexual. A lot of it is you having to deal with weird, gross men with either weird milking kinks or men who think they're all high and mighty and then get off in like under 2 minutes all over you, and you can't collect any of it, and it's a waste of your time and energy, and you gotta go change now. Thankfully their costume, their uniform is like scrubs and then a plastic apron and then scrub cap and white mask, so no identifiable features. The reason why they're able to recognize each other in the coffee shop later on is from their voices alone, because they start having conversations regularly. But also, so that like a whole aspect of it is cleanliness. Like they clean the rooms after every single one, right? And so by wasting all that time and energy doing that, they also have to get janitorial people to come in and like deep clean that space again, because like they do like a cursory. Her job, part of her job is after each one she has to do like a quick clean, like a quick mop up and wipe down of the bench, right? Makes sense. Right? But if there's a big mess, cough cough, somebody from the janitorial team has to come in and deep clean the whole room, and then that puts everybody else behind schedule because they can't last 2 minutes. So like that's a good chunk of your job. Or it's the rude people who are coming on their lunch break and just want to get it done and over with, and doesn't even like register you're there even. Like sometimes they're still on a Bluetooth call the whole time. Like I'm not even joking. That happened like very recently in the book, right? So it's not sexual. It's like more of a career thing for both sides. Right? Like it's a good second income almost, like is how it's described at one point for the Minotaurs, right? Right. And so that's like a whole thing. and so that's described why it's not technically sex work. Also, because they are, I guess they'd be labeled as farmhands in tax forms, right? I do know taxes or think they are brought up. She has to bring in her tax forms when she applies to the job, right? Like when she does the training and is accepted through like the first round, right? When they see the first video to explain what the job is, and that's when you learn what the job is, right? She has to bring in her tax form. So I know taxes are a thing. So probably in the tax forms it just says farm worker for Glory Morning Farms, and if your accountant is a Minotaur, he probably knows what that means. But otherwise, right? Because they're usually like not like obvious what they are. Like this one's in the middle of suburbia. Like there's kids running around outside, right? Like it's not very obvious what it is, right? It's the whole thing. There's also ones for like different species. There's for lizards and snake people. There's venom ones. There's blood ones. All this stuff. So like it just happens to be what the Minotaurs are useful for in this aspect, right? There's also the aspect where she's like kind of the only human who's working there, and so especially the ones who have like weird milking kinks. The fact that she can dress up as milking girl, like small milk hand and all that stuff is like, and also has smaller hands. That's really beneficial for them, not for her. So that's like a whole thing. And like other than him, it's very much of her just like wanting to get the job over with. Like you got 12 minutes to get them, or else they go in a sucking machine anyways, and the job's done that way. And you got to do like at least 8 a day when you start. I'm not even gonna comment on that. Anyways, so like most of the book when she is working, what we see of her working is the monotonous day-to-day aspect of her just having to do this over and over again, having to clean and then do this aspect and put the labels on and weigh them and all this stuff and send it through, and having to deal with the gross guy and the guy who says all this stuff and all this whatnot. And so most of the book is her going through the monotonous work, which is this is where I gotta bring up the fact that this is kind of slow burn. Because, like, while it is clearly very sexual, because there are all this, she's just giving, like, 20 hand jobs a day, okay? It's very, like, monotonous. She's not having a good time. She's not enjoying it, right? She gets paid at the end of the day, but that's, like, the extent of it for her, right? Except for Friday nights on her last slot, because that's him, right? And then she has a good time. And she fantasizes about him the rest of the time, right? She's good at her job, but she doesn't, like, really like doing it. She can't really tell anybody what she's doing, really, other than her vampire friend who works in the blood sphere for this, right? Apparently, yeah, no, there's like this whole thing where she works at a restaurant where they feed humans, and then the humans go there to be bled, and what their blood tastes like is based off of what they eat while at the restaurant, and then they feed vampires with that blood. Wild. Anyways, yeah, the way that the book is written, you can feel this how it's just like so slow and boring and like this is just every day for her. Like it's not exciting, it's not fun, it's not sexual at any way. And then he comes in and then it is for like 20 minutes. Because she does give him extra time because he's usually her last one of the day, right? So like with that one, it is a little bit sexual, but like otherwise, I say a little bit, it's very with him, but otherwise, and they have little snippets of conversation before she starts going, right? For like 30 seconds to a minute. But if you think about it, it's like been 6 months, and there was like 2 weeks she took off, and now they are doing 2 days a week, right? But before it was just 1 day a week, and so like 20 minutes if that, because sometimes she doesn't go over, she doesn't have to most of the time, usually pretty fast, right, with her, and all this stuff, and so, if you think about it, if you get like a minute conversation before all of those, that's like maybe they've had like an hour of conversation, if that, maybe, throughout all of this time. And now they're going out on a date because she's dealing with some personal stuff, and she just finished him, and he's all like, "Here, I'll buy you coffee, and we can talk." And so now is when it's starting to pick up on the actual relationship stuff. But before it was very slow burn. It was very much like it was sexual stuff was happening, but it wasn't actually sexual type situation, which is what her work is. And so if it was done purposely to be like that, well done. I never want to think about a hand job ever again. And I imagine she has the same feeling. All right, except when it comes to him, because when it comes to him, she's really picturing it a lot. Like so much. I know so much about this girl's thoughts. Anyways, I'm gonna go watch TV with my sister. I will probably finish the book today. I have like 103 pages left. So I will either finish or get very close to finishing tonight, and then I will update you tomorrow morning with my final thoughts. Is how we're gonna do it this time around. It's okay. This clip is like extra long. See, this is what happens. It's okay I didn't update because like this happened anyways. Fun times. Goodbye. I need to return the book, and I need to plug in my Kindle. Return to Kindle Unlimited. Where's my Kindle charger hanging over here? Um, 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 I'm confused. That ending? Not it. Not it. I was gonna give it a 4, maybe a 3.5 now. Just because that ending. Anyways, computer won't be quiet. I know that it hasn't been quiet all day because I started the morning with the gaming. Anyways, I did not read any more last night. I will be honest. The like last 40% of the book was just their romance. They go on a bunch of dates. They're like dating for a month before they, right? Because he wants to make it very clear to her, knowing her anxieties, that if they were to so early on, then she would think that he was with her just for the fact that she's really good at getting him off already. Which makes no sense because he gets paid if he goes to her workplace, and so she just like more regularly. But he purposely makes sure that they don't for a while, so that she understands that he wants to be with her. And then it's just literally everything I read today is just them dating, them finally sleeping together, them dating some more, her getting. I don't even know if she did get the job. The last chapter, she did get the job. She applied to a job in the suburb area where he also lives. He owns a house, right? I think I brought this up, where she can use her actual degree. I think her degree's in art history, technically. And so she can use her actual degree because this is like an old town, right? And so there's some refurbishing that needs to be done, especially to one of the big buildings. It was originally like the founder's mansion, and it's now a museum, and so they need some refurbishing, right? And so she's gonna be working there. She's gonna still be working at the Glory Farm for like 2 days a week for extra income, to literally just go towards her highest interest credit card. Literally, her finances are a big aspect of this book. And then her vampire bestie, she like lives in an apartment building in the suburbs area, and so she one of her neighbors moves out, so she's like, hey, so she's like moving into the area. She's getting a job that has to do with her degree. She's in a long-term relationship where they're still like taking it slow. Like he would 100% be down for her to move in with him and whatnot, but she doesn't want to like jump to that step too early. And the reason why I was like for that ending, I was just reading along. He went back to the farm. She was him. She was like, hey, I got the job. He's all like, hey, he has a sweet tooth, so he's like, hey, can you pick up this lava cake from this children's place for me? It's like an arcade, and there's usually a lot of kids, and he doesn't want to deal with the kids. He's like, can you pick up the lava cake for me? They kiss. It's very sweet. They're happy together. The end. It's so sudden. The ending is so sudden. Like, literally, I turned the next page expecting there to be a next page, but instead it was artwork of them saying that they'll be in later books or other books in the series as side characters, which I don't think I'll continue. Like, this wasn't poorly written, like in all things encompassing. It was well written. This one was pretty good. It was pretty good in general. Listen, in their first full-on scene, I blatantly remembered, I can't remember the exact name of the book. I can figure it out. Watch me, I'm gonna do it. Ready? I know what book I was thinking of during the seed. Is Mary Ever After by Tessa Bailey, which is one of those short Amazon collection where they release like 5 or 6 books by different authors. They're like 60 pages each. It was the second one of that Christmas one from 2024, right? I read it, I think September of last year, around that time, right? And it is an important aspect of this in which he is a very large man in a lot of aspects, and he's all like, I don't want to hurt you, but also goes in very fast. I remember this. I was like, I don't, especially since like somewhat recently she's given birth, and I'm like, can we prepare a little bit? Don't worry, Rourke, which is the Minotaur's name, by the way. I don't think I've ever said his name. Her name is Violet. Anyways, he don't worry. He makes sure she's prepared. Very prepared. Very prepared. And so I was thinking that before that, and I was comparing them, and I was like, this was done much better, because that's the only one that I can think of in which they are so well endowed. And I think this one's like much more than that one. Right. Anyways, this one is pretty good. The writing in general was good. It made me laugh multiple times. My only issue was that ending. What the hell? That wasn't an ending. That was just she's just stopped writing. So that's my only issue. 3.5 stars, I guess. Yay. I'm gonna go probably edit this whole thing if I'm gonna be honest. End of video stuff. I already mentioned the playlist of these. I'm trying to make them a semi-regular thing. So we'll see. Saturdays are booktube videos like this one. Wednesdays are gaming videos, which are slightly edited down versions from my streams on Twitch. Speaking of Twitch, I stream like almost every day. Some like reading, co-working stuff, some gaming. So check that out. That's linked below. Along with all the other things, you can do this stuff if you want to do this stuff. I think I'm supposed to tell you to like and subscribe. I hate saying it, but apparently it works. I guess it does, because the amount of times that people have told me to check it to make sure I'm subscribed, and then I look down and I'm actually not, and I've been watching them regularly for at least 6 months, is more than once. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna go do all that jazz. Maybe my computer will shut the fuck up as soon as I stop recording. I'm willing to bet that's what's gonna happen. Anyways, definitely not the worst Monster Smut I've read by a long shot. Oh my god. By far. This is pretty average, basic. It's fine. It's good. Moving on with my life. It didn't traumatize me in any way. So if you want a weird smut that won't traumatize you, this one's pretty good. I'll give you that one. Okay, goodbye. Until the next video.